to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. This is a place where the day can soften and fade, and tonight, as you listen, you'll be carried gently into a winter garden beneath a quiet silver moon. You can start by finding a comfortable position, letting your body settle a little more with each breath. Notice the simple rhythm of air moving in and out. There's nothing you need to do and nowhere you need to go. The world can wait outside for a while. Right now, this time is only for rest, for softness, for drifting. As you breathe in, imagine the cool, clean air of a winter night. As you breathe out, imagine a faint cloud of warmth dissolving into the darkness. With every breath, your body loosens. The muscles in your face can soften. Your shoulders can gently release. Your hands and feet can grow warm and heavy, sinking into the surface beneath you. If any thoughts or worries arrive, you can let them pass by like snowflakes on a slow wind, noticed for a moment, and then gone. Listen inside yourself for the feeling of quiet that appears between one breath and the next. In that quiet, a picture begins to form. A garden sleeping under winter's touch, a pale moon sailing above, and a path that leads through the snow. Tonight you will not have to walk that path. Not really. You will only float along beside the one who does, watching, resting, breathing softly as the story unfolds. Because out beyond the busy villages and the flicker of windows, there is a hill. And on that hill, surrounded by a low stone wall and a ring of tall, bare trees, there lies a winter garden waiting beneath the moon. In a small cottage at the edge of these trees lives a quiet gardener named Mira. Each evening when the world grows dim and the first star appears, Mira wraps a woolen scarf around their neck, pulls on thick mittens, and steps outside. The door closes with a soft, wooden sigh, and the sounds of the cottage fade behind them. The night air is crisp, the kind of clear cold that makes every breath feel like a sip from a mountain spring. Snow rests in gentle layers on the ground, smoothing the path into a white ribbon that winds toward the stone wall. Above, the sky is calm and open, a deep indigo bowl with the moon placed carefully at its center. The moonlight is steady and kind, casting long, soft shadows that stretch across the hill. Mira's boots press into the snow with a slow, measured crunch. Each step leaves a clear mark, neat and rounded, like punctuation on the silent hillside. Frost sparkles along the edges of the path where small plants sleep, their shapes tucked in beneath delicate white crystals. The world is hushed, as if even the night animals are resting, listening. The stone wall of the garden rises ahead, low enough to see over, high enough to feel like a boundary between the ordinary world and something else. Snow has settled along the top of the stones in a smooth line, and behind it, the dark shapes of trees and trellises stand quietly, traced in silver by the moon. Mira pauses for a moment at the small iron gate. It is simple and old, its bars shaped like slender stems and unfurling leaves. A thin layer of frost makes it shimmer softly. Hanging from the gate is a tiny bell, dull with age, its surface worn smooth by many winters. Mira lifts a gloved hand and touches the bell. It does not ring out sharply. Instead, it sings a faint, soft note. A sound almost too gentle to hear. It drifts into the still air like a breath. With that note, the winter garden seems to wake, not with movement or noise, but with attention. The quiet deepens in a way that feels welcoming. The moonlight settles more fully over the snow. The shadows stretch, becoming rich and velvety, like a blanket for the sleeping plants. Mira opens the gate and it swings inward with a low, friendly creak. Inside, the garden unfolds, curved paths edged with stones, empty beds waiting for spring, and here and there, sturdy plants that do not fear the cold. Evergreen shrubs stand like patient guardians. Tall grasses bend under the weight of frost, their feathery tops crowned with tiny shining beads. A lattice arch reaches overhead, its bare vines woven thickly, catching the light in little loops and knots. This garden is not a place of bright colors and crowded growth, not tonight. It is a place of shapes and shadows, of breath and stillness. The scents are subtle, the faint resin of evergreens, the clean, dry smell of snow, and beneath them all, the deep, earthy hush of soil, resting and dreaming of warmer days. Mira moves slowly along the path, not hurrying, not needing to reach anywhere in particular. The garden is familiar, yet each night under the winter moon, it feels a little different. The angle of light shifts, the patterns of frost change, and new details reveal themselves, as if the garden is quietly showing its secrets one by one. Near the center of the space stands a glass house, its frame dark and slender, its panes clouded with a thin breath of ice. By day, it looks simple and worn, but under the moon, it becomes something else. The glass catches the pale light and holds it, turning the little structure into a soft lantern, glowing faintly amid the snow. Mira approaches the door of the glass house and brushes a hand along its surface. Frost breaks away in delicate shards, revealing the shadowy interior. The key, old and smooth, hangs on a nail beside the door. Mira takes it, feeling its familiar weight, and turns it carefully in the lock. The sound is quiet, but in the stillness of the garden, it feels like a small ceremony. The door opens with a sigh of loosening wood, and a faint flow of warmer air brushes out against Mira's face. It is not truly warm inside, only less cold, but the difference is gentle and welcoming, like stepping into the memory of summer. Within the glass house, rows of wooden tables stretch beneath the windows, each lined with pots and trays, sleeping soil and tender shoots. Lanterns hang from the beams overhead, their glass smoky and soft. They are not lit with fire, not anymore. Small, steady orbs of pale light float inside them instead, bobbing slowly as if drifting on an invisible current. Their glow is calm and steady, a cousin to the moonlight, echoing it in miniature. Mira steps in and closes the door behind them, shutting out the whisper of the outside air. The light from the lanterns brushes over the plants, revealing leaves edged with silver, tiny buds that have chosen the cold months to appear. Some blossoms here open only in winter, unfolding their petals in the quiet months when the world is still and most people sleep, unaware of their shy, secret beauty. Near the far end of the glass house is a small pond carved from stone, a shallow oval where water rests in a patient curve. Tonight it is mostly frozen, a thin sheet of clear ice stretching from edge to edge. Beneath the surface, shapes of stones and tucked away roots are visible, blurred and softened. A few green shoots press up against the underside of the ice like fingers against frosted glass. Mira moves from table to table, checking each pot, each tray, each quiet corner. There is no urgency in their movements. They brush snow crystals from a tray of sprouting winter herbs, trace a fingertip along the edge of a leaf, adjust the position of a small clay bowl so that it better catches the lantern glow. Every touch is gentle, every action simple and slow, like a whispered conversation between old friends. Outside the glass house, the garden waits, half in shadow, half in moonlight. The bare branches of fruit trees make soft patterns against the sky, like lace held up to the light. The snow on the ground gleams in smooth, unbroken stretches, except where small footprints cross it. A fox's neat tracks near the far wall, the tiny paired dots of a mouse's quick journey, the wide feathered marks where an owl once landed and then lifted away again. The winter garden is not empty. It is simply quiet, full of slow, secret life. Roots rest deep in the earth, still and strong. Seeds lie hidden beneath the snow, wrapped in darkness that is not a loss but a promise. The moon shines on them all, patient and unhurried. Tonight, Mira has brought something new. In a pocket of their coat, wrapped in a piece of soft cloth, is a small package. When their rounds in the glass house are finished, they return to the center table and unwrap it. Inside lies a tiny wooden box, smooth and simple, the color of dark honey. When Mira opens it, the air inside the glass house seems to pause. Nestled within the box are a few seeds, no larger than grains of sand. They are ordinary in shape, yet the lantern light catches them in a way that makes them glimmer faintly, as if each holds within it a memory of stars. These are moon seeds, given to Mira long ago by a traveling friend. They are meant for nights like this, when the sky is clear and the world is very still. They do not grow by sunlight. They wake when the moon is bright, and when the person who plants them does so with a calm and steady heart. Mira smiles softly and breathes out a long, even breath that fogs the glass house window for a moment before fading. They take a shallow pot, fill it with dark, waiting earth and press the seeds gently into the surface. There is no need to push them deep. Moon seeds like to feel the light even when they are sleeping. Once the seeds are nestled in place, Mira places the pot on a narrow shelf near the pond where the lantern glow and the moonlight filtering through the glass can touch it together. The gardener rests a hand on the soil, fingers relaxed, and stands there quietly, breathing slow. In that stillness, something subtle begins to happen. The air around the pot grows very calm, like the surface of a lake at dawn. The tiny lantern orbs dim just a little, as if bowing in respect. From the frozen surface of the pond, a single line of light rises, faint and thin as a thread. It is not startling. It is not sudden. It appears the way sleep arrives. Gradually, gently, almost unnoticed, the thread of light arcs through the air and settles itself just above the pot of soil, hovering like a small crescent moon in miniature. It hangs there, pulsing slowly, almost matching the rhythm of Mira's breath. Under that soft glow, the seeds begin their quiet work. They do not burst forth or rush to sprout. Instead, they deepen into the soil, sending down the smallest of roots, finer than hair, more delicate than frost. They reach for one another, weaving a web beneath the surface, connecting in tiny, patient gestures. Mira does not need to watch all of this, for the process is slow, unfolding across many nights. The gardener simply nods to the pot, as if in greeting, then steps back. There are other corners of the garden to visit, other small acts of tending to complete. Leaving the glass house, Mira steps out again into the clear air. The moon seems a little higher now, its light spreading wider, painting the snow in soft shades of silver and blue. The trees along the boundary of the garden stand tall and quiet, their branches tracing intricate patterns that the eye could follow for a long, peaceful time. At the base of one tree, a round bench encircles the trunk, its wooden slats dusted with snow. Mira brushes a space clear and sits, mittens resting in their lap. From here, the whole garden is visible. The curved paths, the sleeping beds, the glass house like a glowing heart at the center. The gardener closes their eyes for a moment and listens. There is almost no sound, only the faintest whisper of wind moving through the branches, the soft creak of snow settling into itself. In that gentle silence, the garden seems to breathe. The snow-covered beds exhale a slow calm. The trees hum quietly in their rings of bark. Even the stones of the wall hold a deep, cool peace. Tonight, the moon is bright enough to cast a pale reflection on the frozen pond. If one were to stand very still and look into that reflection, they might see more than just the face of the moon. They might glimpse shapes and stories woven into the light, gardens from other winters, other caretakers walking slow paths beneath other skies, each one tending, each one resting. Mira has seen such hints now and then, little flickers at the edge of sight. They do not try to catch them. It is enough to know that the garden is part of a larger pattern, threads running under the surface of time like the roots beneath the soil. After a while, Mira rises from the bench and walks along the path that curves toward the far corner of the garden. This part is more shadowed, the trees leaning closer together, their branches forming a kind of gentle canopy overhead. Here the snow lies in deeper folds, and the air feels very still, as if it is listening more closely. Nestled in this corner is a small stone statue of a fox curled up in sleep. Frost outlines its ears and paws, and snow has gathered lightly along its back. Years of wind and weather have smoothed its features until only a soft suggestion of muzzle and closed eyes remains. Yet, under the moon, it almost seems to breathe. Mira kneels beside the statue and brushes the snow away from its face. Beneath their hand, the stone is cold and solid, but there is a sense of watchfulness, of quiet companionship. It has been here longer than the gardener has, longer than the glass house, longer than many of the trees. It has seen many winters. Beside the fox, half buried in snow, is a shallow stone bowl. Each evening, Mira fills it with fresh water from a covered bucket, even in the cold. Tonight, as they pour, the water steams faintly in the frigid air, a thin stream of warmth. It does not remain liquid for long. Already a thin skin of ice is forming at the edges. But the act itself is what matters. The garden remembers such gestures. Sometimes on milder nights, small creatures come to sip from this bowl. Mira has seen them occasionally. A hare carefully placing its paws, a bird, feathers puffed, tilting its head, once a fox from the woods, its real eyes glinting in the moonlight as it bowed to the stone one as if greeting an old friend. Tonight the bowl will likely freeze undisturbed, yet the offering is made all the same. Mira lingers there for a moment longer and then returns slowly to the main path. They walk again toward the glass house, but this time they do not enter. Instead, they follow the path that winds behind it, where hedges border a small sheltered space. Here, the snow is thinner, protected from the wind by walls and branches. A stone bench rests against the low wall, facing a patch of ground that, even in winter, holds a few hardy sprigs of green. Above, the moon shines down directly, its light pooling in the sheltered space with a special clarity. This is the wish corner of the garden, though Mira rarely calls it that aloud. Over the years, visitors have come here in every season, pausing to sit on the bench and leave tiny offerings on the wall. A smooth pebble with a stripe of white, a feather, a dried flower, a folded scrap of paper. Some of these remain half covered by snow, softened by time. Others have long since returned to the earth. Mira stops before the bench, looking at the small things left behind. A branch shaped like a circle, a shell with a spiral at its heart, a piece of pale blue thread. Each one held a wish, once whispered or unspoken. The garden does not judge or weigh these wishes. It simply receives them, holds them gently, lets them sink down like seeds into the soil. From another pocket, Mira draws a small, smooth stone, warmed briefly by their hand. On its surface, a faint pattern runs through the grain like the curve of a sleeping petal. The gardener does not speak aloud. They only hold the stone for a moment, breathing slowly, feeling the steady beat of their heart, the quiet of the night. Then they place the stone among the other offerings on the wall and rest their fingers lightly upon it. If there is a wish, it is simple, that the garden continue to be a place of calm, that the plants rest well in their winter sleep, that those who find their way here might feel for a little while as though the weight they carry has grown lighter. The moon seems to nod. A faint breeze stirs, rearranging a few flakes of snow, smoothing them over the stone. The wish, such as it is, settles in. Time passes gently in the winter garden, marked not by clocks or busy footsteps, but by the slow drift of the moon across the sky. As the night deepens, the light changes, growing softer, more diffuse. Shadows stretch and then dissolve. Within the glass house, the pot of moon seeds rests in its place. The thread of light above it has thinned into something more like a hush than a glow. Beneath the soil's surface, the tiny roots continue to explore, weaving themselves into the quiet network of the garden. They touch older roots, brush against small sleeping bulbs, and everything in that underground world shifts a little to make room. Not far away in the frozen pond, tiny pockets of unfrozen water remain near the stones. They are fish no bigger than leaves, drift in slow arcs, their movements measured and drowsy. They have grown used to the long white winters. They know that above them the moon comes and goes, that snow falls and melts, that gardeners come and sit on benches lost in thought. Under the trees, in burrows lined with leaves and moss, small animals sleep, their breaths soft and regular. Somewhere in the branches, a bird tucks its head beneath a wing. In the far woods beyond the hill, an owl calls once, its voice low and rounded, then falls silent again. Eventually, when their rounds are finished and their tasks are done, Mira returns to the glass house for one last look. The lanterns still float gently, their light as steady as calm breathing. The plants gleam along their edges, frost drawing fragile lace upon their surfaces. The pot of moon seeds sits quietly, unremarkable, and perfectly at home. Mira smiles, feeling a slow, deep contentment, and closes the glass house door. The key turns in the lock with a muffled click. Frost is already beginning to creep back over the glass, erasing the clearer patches where their hand brushed it away. From outside, the glass house looks again like a simple, softly glowing shape, a warm thought in the middle of the cold. The gardener walks back along the path toward the gate. Their steps are even slower now, unhurried, as if each movement is part of a quiet ritual. The garden has been visited, tended, greeted. It can rest. At the gate, the small bell glints in the moonlight. Mira touches it once more, and again it offers that gentle, almost inaudible note. Then the gate closes, and the gardener makes their way back across the hillside toward the cottage, leaving a line of footprints behind that will fade with the next snowfall or the next wind. The winter garden remains. The stone wall cradles its edges. The trees stand watch. The glass house sleeps under its thin veil of frost. The pond holds its frozen mirror. The moon glows overhead, patient and present, pouring down its soft, silver light. Inside the hilltop garden, everything grows still. The lantern orbs inside the glass house dim a little further, settling into a kind of rest. The moon seeds continue their patient work beneath the soil, needing nothing more than time and calm and the presence of the night. As the hours move on, the moon begins to drift toward the horizon. Its light becomes gentler, spreading more widely across the snow, turning sharp edges to blur. The stars soften, the sky lightens the tiniest bit, though dawn is still far away. The garden's breathing slows. The air seems thicker with quiet. The snow lies heavy and undisturbed. The paths curl inward like a cat settling into sleep. Somewhere not far from the garden, Mira falls into their own deep slumber, the scent of earth and frost still faintly clinging to their woolen scarf. Their dreams are soft and filled with images of leaves and lanterns, of moonlit glass and sleeping statues, of seeds glowing gently in the palm of a hand before disappearing into the soil. And here, where you are, listening, resting, you can imagine that you are hovering just above that winter garden, watching it from a safe, peaceful distance. You do not have to walk through the snow or feel the cold air on your skin. You can simply drift like a quiet cloud over the hill, looking down at the shapes of trees and paths, the tiny warmth of the glass house, the pale reflection on the pond. With each breath, you float a little lower, a little nearer to that calm. With each exhale, your body grows heavier and more relaxed, as though sinking into your own soft patch of snow, safe and supported. You might picture yourself sitting on the bench around the old tree, the bark at your back, the hush of the branches above. You can imagine the weight of a thick coat around your shoulders, the softness of a scarf against your neck, the comforting press of mittens around your hands. Yet the cold does not bother you. Here it is only a sensation that reminds you of how warm and cozy you are in contrast. The garden accepts your presence without question. It offers no demands. It asks for no decisions. It simply surrounds you in its slow, steady stillness, like a lullaby made of snow and moonlight. Your breathing is unhurried now. In and out, in and out, like the rise and fall of the glass house lanterns, like the tiny drift of the fish beneath the ice, like the quiet expansion and contraction of roots under the soil. Thoughts may still come, but they arrive more faintly, more slowly, like distant footprints on an untouched field. You do not need to follow them. You can let them fade and soften until they are nothing more than small shapes far off on the horizon of your mind. If any worry appears, you can imagine placing it gently on the stone wall of the wish corner, like a small offering. Once there, it belongs to the garden, held lightly among shells and feathers and smooth, worn stones. You do not have to carry it any longer. The winter garden knows how to let things rest. The moon moves gradually toward the trees, and its light falls more slantwise across the snow. Shadows stretch out and blend together, forming broad, soft pools of gray. The glass house grows dimmer as the lanterns sink further into their sleep. The tiny, patient seeds beneath the soil continue their unseen work, already dreaming of the night when they will send pale shoots upward to greet the moon directly. All around, the stillness deepens. The world of the garden becomes weightless, like a slow breath held in comfort and then released. You can feel yourself drifting closer to that same kind of rest, the kind that is gentle and complete. Your body is very heavy now, pleasantly heavy, as if it has found the perfect place to lie down and surrender to the night. Your face is soft, your jaw is loose, your shoulders are relaxed, your arms and legs are warm and slack, sinking deeper into the surface beneath you. The winter garden beneath the moon waits quietly, not asking you to stay awake to see what happens next. It is content to go on being itself in your dreams, paths of snow, trees of shadow, glass house of dim light, pond of frozen reflection, seeds of sleeping silver. If your thoughts grow dim and wander off, that is all right. The story can continue without needing to be heard moment by moment. The garden knows the way. The moon knows the path across the sky. You can let go. Let the images soften at the edges, like snowflakes melting on warm skin. Let the sounds fade until there is only the hush of your own gentle breathing. Let the feeling of the winter night sink inside you, cool and clean, clearing space for calm. Soon, even the moon will drift down knee behind the dark shapes of the trees on the hill. The garden will rest in a deeper darkness, wrapped in its own quiet. And you too can sink into that darkness, into that rest, floating down into a sleep that is peaceful and unbroken. The hill, the garden, the glass house, the pond, the seeds, the fox statue, a small bell on the gate. They can all wait for you in the soft space of dreams. You can visit them again whenever you wish, simply by remembering the feeling of snow underfoot, of lantern light on frost, of breathing slowly beneath a kind and gentle moon. For now, there is nothing you need to do but drift, breath by breath, moment by moment, everything growing quieter, softer, further away. Sleep is approaching like a slow, friendly snowfall, covering every sharp corner, smoothing every edge, leaving only softness behind. Rest now. Let the winter garden keep watch for a while. Let the moonlight fade gently from your thoughts. Let the hush of the night wrap around you like a warm, comforting cloak. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well.